Welcome to Mom in Action, when mind over matter really matters. Thank you for saying yes and taking the time to be part of this Global Virtual Coaching Summit Part 2, brought to you by the Global Institute for Coaches and Entrepreneur that is based in Dallas, Texas, USA. This talk is a response to the original material of Coach A on COVID-19 ROI or Return of Insight. You may watch the replay of this Kapihan Night episode at Coach A's YouTube channel. I am change agent Bihag, an entrepreneur, a mom of two, and a business coach. I'm also an advocate of helping others live a joyful and stress-free life. In Master Coach A's talk, she mentioned the gymnasium, and we all know that it is a big place, and a lot is happening all at the same time. Just imagine how it can be very overwhelming and would be difficult to focus on just one thing, especially with all the mixed emotions and seeing everyone's different reactions. This is very similar to what we are experiencing right now. I want to share with you the things that can help you get through this emotional state due to the current COVID-19 pandemic. We have to be ready to face it even after losing jobs and businesses. Yes, on this situation, it is very typical to overthink and worry about what's going to happen next. But remember, you can always shift this, mind over matter. I remember my usual experience when I started this mindful practice. And I'm sure majority of you have experienced this. Washing the dishes after cooking or after meal. And while doing so, your mind floats and starts to think about what your next task is. Either you need to clean the house, or you have to do the laundry, what's the plan for the next day, or maybe you just have a project that you need to finish. Or maybe you had to run some errands that you have to list. Then, boom! Suddenly, the drinking glass slipped your hand and was shattered to pieces. Then you thought, what just happened? You can't remember what really happened because you were not present in that moment. You were not paying attention to what you were doing. This is exactly what the majority are experiencing because of the current pandemic. Heads and minds are very busy worrying about what's gonna happen next. Do we still have food for the family? How long will this last? When will we get the help from the government? And so on. We do have a lot of questions in mind. But if we really think about it, the answer to those questions are all indefinite, unsure, and out of our control. But despite that, everyone still started panic buying. Little by little, the shelves in the supermarket started to empty. Alcohol's gone. Sanitizers, cleaning supplies, then bread, eggs, all gone. I remember going in the supermarket to buy our essentials. Then people were hoarding the alcohol. I tried to get one piece, but it was impossible. They were already pushing each other, and there was no social distancing because everyone wants to grab one. So I stepped back and thought to myself, why should I panic? Why am I trying to get this alcohol knowing that there are other ways to sanitize and disinfect? I stopped and breathed. Just 3 deep breaths. Then I told myself, it's okay. I understood the present moment. People are anxious and stressed with this pandemic in mind. They are scared. But isn't it crazy? Pushing others for rubbing alcohol. Sometimes we really do crazy things because of the stress, fear, and anxiety that we feel. We become reactive to situations that are out of our control. Remember, negativity isn't going to bring you anywhere when it comes to strengthening your mind to overcome the pain, challenges, or other obstacles. That is why it is important to develop a healthy and positive attitude and mindset. If you are pessimistic, then this might be a challenge. But if you change to positive thoughts whenever you notice negativity coming along, you can actively work towards changing your mindset. Let's go deeper. When you say mind over matter, what comes to your mind? Well, the simple definition of mind over matter is using willpower to overcome physical problems or limitations. And in most situations, we can also use it for emotional, mental, and spiritual challenges. We are usually so busy with what's going on in our lives that we rarely stop and just observe what's going on around us. Practicing this for a small time every day can teach us to appreciate life at a slower pace. But now, with this pandemic, we have more time to appreciate and to observe. Put down your phone, turn off the TV, and take a moment to sit or stand quietly. Observe and appreciate all that is happening around you. One reason why mind over matter doesn't work to some is because they can't get over failures that they experienced in the past. They believe that because things didn't work out before, they probably aren't going to work out in the present or future. By removing this way of thinking and focusing on changing things for the better, you are much more likely to see success with your willpower. For example, if you have failed finishing, let's say, a craft project in the past, give yourself motivation and tell yourself you're going to do it. Don't allow yourself to stop. This will surely reach that goal. Your core values will be a big part of this. It could be integrity, competence, efficiency, resourcefulness, etc., which will bring us to a more stable way of life, irrespective to the adversities that come along the way. I can discuss this topic further on core values. Let me know in the comments if you want to have another talk about core values solely. Talk to yourself. The dialogue you have with yourself is an important tool to achieve mind over matter. Tell yourself you can do it and be your biggest cheerleader. If you believe in yourself, you're more likely to conquer your challenges. We all know that the past cannot be changed, but we also have to remember that the future cannot be forced as well. And all we have is a present moment. And right now, with the pandemic that we are dealing with, there is really no certainty of the future and how long the situation will last. Now, in this present moment, you can choose to enjoy and savor it or choose to stay anxious and miserable. The choice is yours. That's why we call it responsibility, because it is responsibility, which means the ability and freedom to choose our response to any given situation. When we see the world or things around us, especially our current state, they are not what they really are or how it's influenced by your sight. What's important is how you perceive, understand, and interpret it. My number one practice to overcome stress and anxiety is mindfulness. Mindfulness is the ability to stay in the present moment and evaluate your thoughts in a non-judgmental state. It expands your ability to take on stress in a more healthy way. Did you ever experience being stressed and then everyone around you seemed stressed to you as well? Mindfulness will give you the tools to be calm and present and will help you evaluate your acting, feeling, or thinking. It allows us to be more compassionate instead of reacting. We become more empathetic instead of being in conflict. We can be more collaborative instead of being self-centered. We become more self-aware. These are the gifts of mindfulness. It builds compassion for others, which is very important, especially in our current situation. Our decisions will not be focused on reactions. We are able to anticipate how those decisions help or hinder the healing process for the society or community and relationships. I'll give you an example. Look at this picture. It's a blurry something, right? This is the same as what we feel if we are stressed and anxious. just like a blurry mess, out of focus, and our thoughts just jump from one thing to another. What's going to happen? I don't have a job. How will we survive? Everything feels so unclear. Well, mindfulness, on the other hand, helps us zoom out at that blurry mess and help us to focus on thoughts coming together. Then we are able to see a clearer picture of our life. Let me give you some benefits of being mindful. Number one is it improves our overall well-being. It's easier to enjoy the pleasures in life as they happen. It helps you become fully engaged in whatever activities you're in. By focusing on the here and now, you'll find that you are less likely to get caught up in worries about the future or regrets about the past. There will be less worries on success or self-esteem, and you will be able to form deeper connections with others. Number two is your physical health. Scientists have discovered that mindfulness techniques can help improve physical health. It helps relieve stress, treat heart disease, lower blood pressure, reduce chronic pains, and improve sleep habits. Number three, your mental health. This also helps on depression, substance abuse, eating disorders, relationship conflicts, anxiety disorders, and such. And then number four is spirituality. As we become more in tune and connected to our spiritual self, we become more aware of who we are and what we're supposed to do in this life. That is the biggest benefit of mindfulness spirituality. Then we get a grasp of our self-worth generally. And then number five is social mindfulness. It enhances emotional connection to others and empathy. Appreciate that others can have mental states that differ from yours. Service-oriented and share resources to others. So those are the 5 benefits of mindfulness, which are overall well-being, physical health, mental, spiritual, and social. But did you notice that this pandemic has been training us to become mindful? Washing our hands for 20 seconds, feeling the bubbles, making sure our fingers and nails are all clean, using alcohol and sanitizers, disinfecting our clothes, shoes, and everything that we bring in our house. If you think about it, majority of us never do this in the past. I mean, yes, we sanitize and disinfect, but not as often and as OA as now, right? We are now required to look at every single thing that we touch and observe everything around us to make sure that we are practicing social distancing. These gestures and habits are clearly practices of mindfulness. Just being self-aware and feel what is happening in that certain moment. We also started praying and asking for guidance, which is part of our spiritual well-being. Since we have already started doing mindfulness without us even realizing it, it means that it will be easier for us to practice this, even after this pandemic and on the most difficult times of our lives. No panic, less stress, and less anxiety. Just like what Master Coach A said, that most of us will go through a state of mental gymnasium. Just like the gym, the more you work out, the more you become stronger. And it's the same with this pandemic experience. The more we experience these hardships and start feeling different emotions, then the more we can respond stronger. Yes, stronger than ever. So, I want you to write down 2 things that you are most worried about. Write it down on a notebook or a piece of paper. And then, think about the worst case scenario. Ask yourself and be honest. What's the worst thing that could happen if this transpires? Then make sure to also write it down per item. And then once you already identified what's the worst thing that could happen, then ask yourself, can I deal with this? And what is my solution to this? You know, when we only think about worries and problems, it could really get overwhelming. But once you write it down and really look at it, it becomes smaller than you think. Try it whenever you find yourself worrying about something. And you will find that the problems that you have been obsessing about are not as overwhelming as they seem. Then imagine living a life that you truly desire, always focused and present, just full of joy, gratitude, and kindness. I'm sure you have something that you really want to do or to complete. It could be a project or a task that you have been putting off for a long time. Now is the time to connect to your creativity and start that project. It could be cross-stitch, painting, repairs, or maybe you want to redecorate or organize your home, or just do a general cleaning. You can start it right now. Stop worrying and enjoy the moment of now. By the way, for tips on cleaning and organizing, you can check out my YouTube channel, Bihag, or follow me on Instagram and Facebook. I also offer free coaching consultation. Just feel free to contact me and become more mindful and stress-free. Mind over matter no longer has to be a saying that you hear other people talk about. Instead, it can be something that you actively practice to better your life and achieve your goals in the future. I am here to help. Mind over matter. If practiced, it becomes the way of life. If you need coaching services, you may reach me through my Facebook page and Instagram, mbihag, or you may visit our coaching hub, D-Cup Coffee Republic, located at Pioneer Center Compound, Capitolio, Pasig City. We offer 24/7 coaching service on demand. 0917-586-1661 is the number to call. Visit Life Coach Philippines or www.globalcoachentrepreneur.org to know more about life coaching and life coach certification program. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you learned something in this video. I would love to know if you have questions. Feel free to contact me. The Bomb Boom!